Hey everyone, welcome back to Storyflow Diaries. Today I've got a powerful story about prejudice, leadership, and justice that's sure to leave you thinking. It all started with a simple lunch plan. A man named Michael Bennett was just waiting for his younger brother outside a KFC, planning to treat him to lunch. But what followed was an encounter that would change the course of his life and the lives of those around him forever. What started as a routine day quickly escalated into an event that would reveal the deep flaws in the justice system and expose how bias can influence actions without even realizing it. Stick around, because by the end of this story, you'll see how one man's strength in the face of injustice not only cleared his name, but also transformed an entire precinct, changing the way things were done. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Michael Bennett, a professional and respectable man, stood quietly outside a KFC on Peachtree Street, waiting for his younger brother, Marcus. Michael had just come from a meeting and decided to treat Marcus to lunch, a simple plan that was about to take an unexpected turn. Nearby, Emily Cromwell, a frustrated young girl no older than 14, stormed out of the restaurant, angry that her older brother had refused to buy her the milkshake she wanted. As Emily walked past Michael, something peculiar happened. She swung her bag with force, hitting Michael's arm. This seemingly small moment would soon spiral into a situation that no one could have predicted. And just as the tension built, Officer Spencer, a stern, long-serving officer, arrived on the scene. Little did anyone know, this encounter would change everything for everyone involved. As Michael stood there, patiently waiting for his brother, Emily Cromwell stormed out of the KFC with a frown on her face, visibly upset. She was angry because her older brother had refused to buy her the milkshake she wanted. In a moment of frustration, as she walked past Michael, she swung her bag with force, striking him in the arm. Michael, taken aback, turned to her and politely asked, "Are you okay?" But instead of apologizing or acknowledging her frustration, Emily's face twisted into a scowl. Without missing a beat, she accused him, "Don't touch me," and screamed, "Get away from me!" Her words echoed through the street, drawing the attention of those nearby. Before Michael could respond, Officer Spencer, a burly, stern-faced officer, pulled up in his patrol car. He immediately stepped out and walked toward the scene, not bothering to understand what was happening. Without asking questions or taking the time to listen, Spencer quickly arrested Michael. "Turn around, hands behind your back," he ordered, ignoring Michael's protests of innocence. Marcus, Michael's younger brother, emerged from the restaurant just in time to see his brother being detained. His face fell in disbelief as he rushed forward shouting, "Michael, what's happening?" But his pleas were ignored as Officer Spencer barked, "Step back, this is official police business." A few bystanders, including an older black woman named Mrs. Green, were clearly shocked by the situation. Mrs. Green, seeing the injustice unfold, approached Emily and scolded her, "You ought to tell the truth. Lying like this can ruin a man's life." But Emily, unfazed, simply folded her arms and muttered, "Mind your business," before walking away with a smug expression. Meanwhile, the crowd stood, some recording the event on their phones, capturing a moment of tension that was about to change everything for everyone involved. Officer Spencer, still convinced he was in the right, took Michael to the precinct, unaware that the man he had just arrested was about to change everything. Michael sat quietly in the back of the patrol car, anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. He couldn't believe what was happening. After all the years he had worked to overcome stereotypes and rise through the ranks, he was now being humiliated in public for something he hadn't done. As Spencer led him through the precinct, several officers glanced their way, some nodding in recognition of Spencer, others casting curious glances at Michael. But it wasn't until they reached the booking desk that Spencer's world started to crumble. Lieutenant Sandra Martinez intercepted them and with a raised eyebrow asked what was going on. Spencer, without missing a beat, replied, "Caught this guy harassing a young girl outside KFC." Sandra's brows furrowed, sensing something was off. "Harassing? Do we have any evidence or witness statements?" she asked, her voice tight with suspicion. Spencer was quick to defend his actions. "The girl made the accusation. That's enough for probable cause." But before Sandra could probe further, the door to the captain's office swung open, and the room fell silent. Chief Harris stepped out, drawing all eyes toward him. "Attention, everyone," he announced. "I want you all to meet your new captain, effective immediately." He gestured toward Michael, who stood there, still handcuffed, his expression a mixture of disbelief and restrained anger. The officers in the room gasped as recognition hit them. This was no ordinary man. Spencer's face turned ashen as the reality sank in. He had just arrested the new captain of the precinct. The realization came too late. Chief Harris continued, ignoring Spencer's stunned silence. "This is Captain Michael Bennett, a man of exemplary service and a stellar record. We're lucky to have him lead us." As Michael stood there, still in handcuffs, the room was heavy with tension. Spencer, now acutely aware of his grave mistake, stood frozen, unable to speak. As the room fell into stunned silence, Michael, though still handcuffed, addressed Officer Spencer calmly but firmly. "Officer Spencer, would you care to explain your actions today?" he asked, his voice measured, but filled with authority. "You didn't bother to ask any questions or get the facts before arresting me. You chose to humiliate me based on an accusation without any evidence. Is this how you uphold justice?" Spencer, now speechless, stood there, his face red with embarrassment. Chief Harris, who had been watching the exchange closely, turned to Spencer with a stern expression. "Officer Spencer, my office, now." As Spencer walked toward the chief's office, Harris's voice rang out. "You're suspended without pay, effective immediately. And don't even think about that promotion. You can forget it." The room was thick with tension as Michael, now free from the handcuffs, turned to the other officers. He addressed the team with the kind of leadership that was unmistakable. "Let this be a lesson to all of you," he said, his voice strong. "Justice isn't about assumptions. It's about facts. If we fail to treat everyone with respect and fairness, we undermine the very oath we swore to uphold." The officers nodded in agreement, some visibly uncomfortable as they reflected on the situation. Michael had made it clear. Leadership was about accountability, and fairness was non-negotiable. The bystander video of the incident outside the KFC quickly went viral, revealing the truth. It was Emily who had struck Michael with her bag first, and Officer Spencer had acted without even a basic investigation. The public outcry was swift and intense, with many calling out the injustice that Michael had endured. In response, Emily's family issued a public apology, acknowledging the harm their daughter had caused and expressing regret for the humiliation Michael had faced. As part of the consequences, Emily was required to perform community service at a local youth center, where she would work alongside underserved communities to develop empathy and learn the importance of honesty. Meanwhile, Officer Spencer's suspension was extended as an internal review was launched into his past conduct. The precinct, recognizing the gravity of the situation, released a public statement apologizing to Michael and condemning Spencer's actions. Furthermore, the precinct implemented significant reforms, including training on unconscious bias and conflict de-escalation, ensuring that such an incident would never happen again. Michael's strength and composure in the face of injustice led to real change within the precinct and the community. After the incident, Michael took decisive action to transform the precinct and set a new standard of leadership. He initiated mandatory training on unconscious bias and conflict de-escalation for all officers, ensuring they were better equipped to handle situations with fairness and professionalism. Understanding the importance of rebuilding trust, He also collaborated closely with community leaders to bridge the gap between the police and the neighborhoods they served. Through open dialogue and outreach, Michael worked to foster a stronger connection and mutual respect between law enforcement and the public. His leadership not only addressed the immediate issue, but also laid the foundation for long-lasting change within the precinct. The reforms he implemented set a new standard for how justice should be upheld, emphasizing respect, accountability, and the commitment to doing what's right, no matter the circumstance. Under his guidance, the precinct became a model for others to follow. This story shows how one person's strength and composure can inspire change, even in the toughest situations. Michael Bennett faced false accusations and humiliation, but instead of reacting in anger, he stood firm and used the experience to bring about real transformation. His leadership in initiating reforms, such as training on unconscious bias and conflict de-escalation, set a new standard for fairness and accountability in the precinct. It's a powerful reminder that leadership isn't just about power, it's about making the right choices, even when things aren't easy. What did you think about Michael's approach to leadership? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Storyflow Diaries for more inspiring and thought-provoking stories. I've got more coming your way, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.